What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to EP09. So we're getting pretty deep into the competition season at this point, you guys. There's still a fair few shows happening yet, but we are about 19 weeks out from the 2023 Olympia at this point. And next up for the competition season is the Orlando Pro. Now, I want to run through the competitors here again for you guys, and then I'll give you guys my top 5. And my top 5 is definitely different than some of the predictions that I've been seeing out there. Most notably from Mark's Max Muscle, I must say. But of course, we love Mark here on EP09. You guys should be subscribed to Mark's Max Muscle over there if you're not already. Great bodybuilding channel. But yeah, stay tuned for my top 5 predictions, and let's get into it here. So to start things off, we're going to run through each competitor here. First off, we have Mohamed El Mansour, who we saw at the 2022 Olympia, Emmanuel Alvarez, who is making his pro debut. I've talked about this guy recently, and I think he's going to make a statement at this show. We've got Leonidas Cardoza, who is making his way into the Open after competing in the 212. And you know, you can't really find him online anywhere, honestly, which is a big mistake for pro bodybuilders out there looking to make a name for themselves these days. But anyway, next up, we have Devon Kazi, who last won the 2022 Ben Weider Natural Pro. So you do not see many natural athletes out there in the pro ranks. He still looks natural to me, actually. You've got Phil Clahar, still going strong at 49 years old, you guys, and he took third in this show last year, which arguably had a deeper lineup. Looks like he's coming for a warm-up before the Masters Olympia. Next up, we got Chris DiDomenico. He actually took 7th place at the 2022 Chicago Pro, and he's looking to be showing up in shape. We've got Matt Kuba, who actually placed one spot ahead of Chris DiDomenico at the Chicago Pro. He took 6th place in 2022, and he's a familiar name out there to the hardcore bodybuilding fans. We've got Scott Lightfoot. He'll be making an appearance in Orlando, and I'm telling you, I like this guy, man. He looks like just a hardcore bodybuilder, for sure. He's a trainer and a coach, but, you know, he does look like, I dare say, an older gentleman, but he looks like he's going to be fairly well conditioned coming into this show. We have Stanimal in the lineup, Stan DeLongo, and a lot of people have Stanimal in their top 3 these days. He does look great. I think he's going to have a great showing, and I'll let you guys know where I have Stanimal in this lineup shortly. But let's keep going here. We're getting into some bigger names in this lineup for sure. Next up, we have Jason Lowe, who has been very active this competition season so far. And I'm going to tell you guys, Jason is a solid competitor in this lineup. He's been working toward putting on the mask to hang with the open guys, but you know, Jason is a very experienced bodybuilder. He's got 27 shows under his belt as a professional bodybuilder. He's competed in Classic Physique, 212, and this is his 2nd year competing in the Open. His structure really is fantastic, and as he continues to put on mass, I think he's going to be a great Open pro. So moving right along here, we have Hassan Mostafa, and of course, Hassan is the heavy favorite to come in and win this show. You know, the general consensus out there right now is basically this is Hassan's show to lose. After a somewhat controversial 2nd place finish at the Toronto Pro, Hassan has continued to diet for the Orlando Pro. He's been on 0 carbs, so he's really trying to bring the shreds in as much as he can. And I think he does look a bit more conditioned as compared to Toronto, you guys. Now, Hassan is actually defending his title at this show. He won it last year, and with an arguably deeper lineup last year, like I mentioned before. So Hassan Mostafa, the heavy favorite going into Orlando. So the last 2 we have on the list here, we have Eric Ramirez, who hasn't been posting a ton of updates, but he does look like he's going to be shredded coming into the show. And finally, we have Ray Short. Ray competed in the 2022 Indy Pro, and you know, he brings a good level of conditioning to the stage. Really good balance overall from the front and the side especially. I'm not sure where he's going to place in this lineup, honestly, but he is coached by Ben Chow, so he's got a monster coach behind him. He hasn't really been posting any physique updates lately, but this guy could be a wild card, you guys. He really could. So that's all the competitors we'll see this weekend at the Orlando Pro, and it's time to give you guys my top 5 predictions. But you know, there is a couple of things that I want to touch on here quickly before I get into that. So to start, just like I said, quick consideration, and I'm not going to spend long talking about this, but I did want to touch on the fact that Patrick Moore was planning on doing this show, and his name is absent on this list. So that's now 2 shows in a row that Patrick has dropped out here, you guys. Would he have made a difference in the top 5 at this show? Well, I think if he showed up in shape, then I think the answer is yes. But he looks like he's still very far out of being stage ready. So I did want to note that, but look, I know how a lot of you guys feel about Patrick Moore, and at this point, I think his full potential may never be realized. So look, I'm just going to leave that one right there. Now, I also just wanted to note, I do not have Mohamed Insur in my top 5, you guys. Although he did win the Monsters in Pro in 2022, beating out Sung Cho Lee, and he did go to the Olympia, it was these latest update pictures that had me put him outside the top 5 here, you guys. I really just honestly wasn't impressed. I mean, not at all, actually. He looks downsized to me, and I don't think it's as simple as him being flat. Now, I could fall flat on my face by having him out of the top 5, even the top 3 here, but whatever may have happened over the last year, I think he lost some size and I think he lost some polish. So you guys can let me know in the comments section what you think about that, but here we go, I'm going to get right into my top 5. So, starting with 5th place in this lineup, I have Jason Lowe, and this is a really good placing for Jason in the show, you guys. Like I said, in the next couple of seasons as he continues to fill out that frame, I think with the increased mass and his overall structure, he could win a pro show in the right lineup. Oh, and he does a great job with his YouTube channel over there too. Go check him out and subscribe, but as for the Orlando Pro, I have Jason Lowe in 5th place. In 4th place, I have Stanimal. And he really does look great in these update pictures, you guys. He looks hard and grainy, and you know, he really does look good. I think this is going to be his best package to date. I think he's going to bring absolutely lights out conditioning, and I think he has a ton of potential. But just like I think with Jason Lowe, he just needs to bring that mass, and he'll really be kicking some serious ass in the pro ranks. So in this lineup, I have Stanimal in 4th place. Now, the top 3 is definitely an interesting consideration in this lineup. I have 3 competitors in mind to round up the top 3. I have the heavy favorite, of course, Hassan Mostafa, the veteran bodybuilder that you would be a fool to count out, Phil Claher, and if you guys have been following this channel, this should be no surprise to you. I have the newcomer making his pro debut, Emmanuel Alvarez. And I realize it's very bold to have this guy in the top 3 at his pro debut against some very good bodybuilders, but this guy is not only a monster, but he's got great aesthetics to back it up. I will say I think his back needs to come up a little bit, maybe just more overall size, but that youthful look to his physique, the X-frame, the overall flow. I'm telling you, you guys, he deserves to be considered for the top 3 here. Don't sleep on this guy for a minute. So with that being said, I'm going to put Phil Claher in 3rd place. And look, I think Phil is a fantastic bodybuilder. I think for 49 years old, he's an absolute marvel in his own right. But I do think Father Time catches up with us all. And I do think he's lost just a little bit of his former glory. But I mean, top 3 for Phil Claher in Orlando, you guys, he could come in and win the Masters in a few months. So yeah, in this lineup, Phil Claher, 3rd place. So it all comes down to the top 2 here. Will it be the expected champ, Hassan Mostafa, or the guy that has been impressing the hell out of me lately, Emmanuel Alvarez? And you guys, to take any personal bias out of this, realistically, I'm going to have to go with Hassan Mostafa taking home the win. Because at the end of the day, this is a muscle contest, and Hassan is going to be the biggest, and I think by a long shot. Judging by his latest physique update, he's going to be shredded, and I think to put him in 2nd place would be just a disservice to last year's Orlando champion. But with that being said, Hassan has been known to miss his peak on show day more often than not. So, if Emmanuel comes in and nails it, you know, you never know, you guys. But I mean, Hassan is most likely going to win here. He looked fantastic in Toronto, and I'm putting him in 1st place here in Orlando. And that puts Emmanuel Alvarez in 2nd place, which still will shoot his stock straight up very quickly. And I won't lie to you guys, I'm going to be rooting for him. So, that's the preview for the upcoming Orlando Pro. I hope you guys are excited for the show. I'm definitely excited to see this one. Stay tuned right here on EP09. I'll have all the updates for you guys right here. That's going to do it for me in this video. Thank you for tuning in to EP09. Be sure to like and subscribe.